Awake Israel.
All right, shalom, everybody, shalom. All right, man.
Shalom.
Shalom, King.
Shalom. Well, we're gonna get it going tonight, and we're just gonna continue on with what we were talking about before, which is, we understand how important it is, how the Israelite family, how important it is to the Most High. That was His original design, for that to be multiplied and all throughout the earth. And we're in a different place now because of so many things that have happened through our history, but we need to correct it because that's what He's told us to do. So we just want to discuss some things, some intricate things, and some important things on the road to that correction, which we understand is certainly not an instant type of situation, and both men and women and children, for that matter, have a part to play in it as we go back to Yah and go back to Yahawashi. But we have to start with the family. That's the nucleus of the entire nation. We got to start there. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll ask a question real quick. Does the Most High and Yahawashi think about you? Do y'all think the Most High and Yahawashi thinks about you?
Every day.
Yeah, all of us, right?
She's like, yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you.
That's how I know I get my blessings.
Absolutely, man. Look, He doesn't fail. I mean, that's just another way He helps us with our faith, because He shows Himself. And like you said, that proves that, as crazy as it is, He thinks about us. He thinks about us. We're on His mind. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get ready to read a scripture real quick. I'm going to need someone to help me with that. All right, we're gonna go to Jeremiah 29 and 11. Jeremiah 29 and 11. Jeremiah 29 and 11. Somebody want to grab that for me?
I'm gonna grab it when I find it.
Okay.
29 and 11. Okay.
Jeremiah 29 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it.
Okay.
Make sure I have it right. 29. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord Yahweh, thoughts of peace and thoughts not of evil, to give you an expected end.
God. Now that's actually something that says it, but it speaks it. Well, it speaks it obviously properly in the KJV, but it's the NIV is a bit more of a popular version of it. I have the NIV, the New International Version, so this is probably one that is usually something we might hear a little bit more. Can somebody get the Jeremiah 29:11 from the NIV? I do have it up on the screen if y'all can see the screen.
NIV version. Let me see. Let me get my spectacles.
Okay.
Can you bring it in bigger? Can you make it a little bit larger?
Yeah, let me try to make that bigger.
Okay, that's good right there.
All right.
Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. This is reading from the NIV. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord Yahweh. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
God. So, does that sound familiar to y'all? Well, that's something that's
very familiar. Very familiar.
Yeah, it's something that it's said a whole lot. It's said a whole lot. People think about that. The whole plans to prosper you and not to harm you. A lot of people speak about that. So it's the same thing, except for that's the NIV version versus the KJV. So I just wanted to make that distinction. But yeah, it certainly sounds very, very familiar. And I agree. He absolutely does have a plan for us. but we have to. But well, I'll say this: we forget, or at least sometimes we try not to remember. It seems like, you know, that in addition to a plan for us, he also has a design for us. He's created us, and he's designed us in a specific way, a particular way. So we're gonna go over that a little bit. I'm gonna share something else with y'all in just a second. Judah Nick in the house.
Slack it, I'm still on the way home, man. Slack it.
Oh, it's all good, brother. It's all good, man. We appreciate you. You know that. I know you're doing your thing. All right, let me get ready to share this here.
Pleasure to have you, Judah Nick.
Shalom, Q. Shalom.
Shalom, King.
All right, here we go. Little video.
How old are you now?
22.
Do you think the guy that you want is going to want you when you're 30 after doing OnlyFans for 8 more years?
My priority is not a guy, it's me.
You don't want to start a family?
I need my peace right now.
There's no family in sight for your future?
If it happens that I have my partner that is going to support me, that is never going to stop me in my dreams. If I love myself enough, I will love you.
Wow. That's, I think they would define that as narcissism, but this is what OnlyFans does to women. They get so much attention right now, it doesn't matter at all about a family. It's like, maybe I'll find a guy, I don't care what he thinks. He's gonna have to love me because I love myself. You don't care about the man that you want to have kids with, but it doesn't even matter. Like right now, you're getting so much attention, it doesn't cross your mind to have kids, which is insane. How many girls in their 20s think this way because they're getting some money and attention from Sims Online? That's the collapse of society in real time. When women are prioritizing attention and money over having a family, then everything is going to crumble. How old are you now?
22.
Do you think the guy that you...
Yep, everything is going to crumble with that type of attitude, and that's a sample of the modern woman. Let's check out another one.
Posted a video encouraging women to not prioritize a career first and instead focus on a family throughout their 20s. And it is so sad because I consistently get the same deadgum comments from these same type of women. We're trying to teach women not to settle and not be pressured by our biological clock because they're better than that. Truth is, women by and large have been sold a complete lie and fairy tale version of what life and relationships look like, and I blame Disney Channel for this. If he loves you, he'll take you just the way you are forever. There are no compromises needed. You don't need to change anything. However, he still might have to change some stuff. Women never compromise nowadays, whereas men, they have to compromise. A decently handsome man that makes a decent amount of money, that's maybe an 8, will absolutely settle for a woman that is a 6 if she attains some attributes that he might find appealing in a mom or a wife. For instance, she's nurturing, she's loving, she brings him peace when he comes home from work. He'll take her over the baddies that are a 9 that are hoeing it up at a club because that is what he finds attractive and worthwhile for the rest of his life. But by and large, women just would rather chase a lifestyle than have a good, honorable, loyal man at home. You'll have a good man that says, I make just enough for you to have our baby, raise them at home, keep them out of the government's hands so that they can be raised the way we want them to be raised. And because girls have to get their hair done and their nails done every 3 weeks, they'd rather go career up and boss babe and be independent just so they can get their nails done.
Craziness, man.
Wow.
So these are just different attributes that, I mean, we see it every single day, and just like that first video said, it's the collapse of a nation. Not understanding the difference between relationship attention and sexual attention. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. All right, let's look at one more.
Please do not address me as a strong, independent Black woman. It's not a compliment. I never hear a man that is raising children alone say, I'm mom and dad. He never becomes overly feminine because he's raising children. But we as women become overly masculine because we are raising children, because I'm mom and dad and I gotta do all these things, right? And now I put extra stuff on me and then I say, ain't nobody helping me. Well, nobody told you to do that. There is help available, all because I was trying to overcompensate for what daddy wasn't doing. I didn't have to be mom and dad. Now they got Mr. Chris and Mr. Eric over here. And I took them to be a part of different organizations because when you think of something strong, you do not think of coming to the aid of it. So when we are looked at and walk around as strong, what we're putting out is, I do not need assistance. I don't need your help. So anytime a man says, oh, I love it, you're so strong. I said, no, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. I'm not independent. I'm interdependent. Because nobody ever comes to the aid of the strong person. So when I'm around men, my wrists are broke.
In other words, she's saying she's showing that she does need help. you know, and again, that's just the opposite of what feminism teaches. Feminism teaches, you know, feminism teaches women, I don't need no man, you know, and it's just not healthy. That's just not a healthy disposition to have, and it definitely goes against all of nature. It goes against all of nature. So I just wanted to, you know, show those things, and we're going to continue our talk here because we're just understanding the disposition and what we have to battle against, you know, in order to reclaim our families, to strengthen our families, the core of our families, work within that and teach our youngsters those same ways. So those things, so that can be fruitful. Those ways can be fruitful and multiply, which was the original commandment. You know, well, first of all, anybody have anything to say about any of those videos? They were pretty straightforward, just showing a disposition. But you know, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
I think I noticed with a lot of women now is when a man is a gentleman with them, Shalom Ahava. When a man is a gentleman to a woman, like want to hold the door, open the door for her, or, you know, just being a gentleman, she finds that like a turnoff almost. Someone find it like a turnoff when a man is, you know, he hasn't lost chivalry or he hasn't lost the idea of, you know, being a gentleman towards her. Some women like, I got it, I'll do it, and think it's a strange behavior coming from the man and being that way, like he's a sucker or a punk or a yes man, or, you know, like he anything man for her, but he just being a gentleman. I think they get conflicted and confused. What a man being a gentleman to what a simp or a yes man is.
It's definitely a whole lot of confusion. I actually even saw a little video the other day where a guy came up to a woman and she immediately started insulting him. He didn't say anything mean to her, but she immediately started insulting him and telling him to get out of here. You know, he's dressed like this, he's not good enough, blah blah blah. And then he insulted her, and then he insulted her back. She started chuckling, and then he gave her a phone. He gave her his phone. Is like, you know what to do, and she put his number in there. So in other words, he had to insult her to make her feel bad. Not really make her feel bad. He had to say something kind of sassy to her, which made her laugh. But she insulted him the first. So he came up to her gentlemanly and stuff like that. But it's just like you said. It's different. It's out of whack. It's just out of whack. You know, it's out of whack, and because of that, you know, men don't know how to react. You know, men have gotten softer and don't know how to, you know, respond to females because everything is very confused right now. But you know, let's think about that. You know, like, but just in that same situation, you know, like the women are on the receiving end, and that's the way it is most of the time. I would even say that's the way it should be pretty much. So if we understand that nature, men have to learn what women like. We have to learn what women like so we can create and do what appeals to them, so we can draw females into us. And it's most of the time, just like we were saying, it's men that are approaching women. So guys got to have some kind of game. They have to acquire some kind of skills and probably some other things that attract, the ladies to them. But you know, I'd say the modern woman of today, generally speaking, you know, she sits back and and it's almost like she's judging auditions. You know what I'm saying? Like American Idol or something. You know what I'm saying? She's just like judging, you know, those people that are coming up to her. So she doesn't consider what went into creating the act. Like, you know, like if she's judging an act, like on American Idol, for instance, she's not considering how many hours or and stuff that went into creating that act, hoping that, you know, that act will appeal to the judge. All these little decisions and gambles that the person that's doing this act put together, hoping that it would appeal to the judge. And in this scenario, we're talking about, you know, what men have to do in order to attract women and go out there and gamble and stuff like that. But typically, it's the woman is not really thinking about that. She's more so considering whether she likes it or not. Whether she likes it or not. Not a whole lot more than that. So she doesn't concern herself with what attributes would actually make her a good judge. You know, so she's just thinking about what's being presented to her. She doesn't think about what is going to make her a good judge, what she should be looking for, what is going to be healthy for her, that's going to, you know, make her judge correctly. She doesn't think about those things. She thinks about what she sees and whether she likes it, pretty much. So if y'all can understand, hopefully y'all can understand what I mean by that. But do these things, you know, sort of sound right or like typical these days?
Calm.
Very accurate, man. Very accurate.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I can take from what you have said. I can, you know, just go in my past and different, you know, because I'm a people person. So I try to appeal to people, especially a woman. You know, I always try to appeal to a woman because I'm different than them. They different than I am. So I think being genuine, just being really, really genuine. They love a sense of humor. They you know, it's you know, even when breaking that ice, you can have a woman that might have had a bad day, and we don't know that she had a bad day, and about 20 guys try to talk to her, and you know, they come in with lame I guess, you know, in introducing themselves, and she just, you know, probably like, here go another one. You know what I'm saying? Here go another one about to bite the dust. He don't even know it. But
You don't even know.
I think that they love persistence. I think a real woman, to me, they love, you know, if she has herself together, rather she may not, but I think they love persistence. They love genuine, and they love, you know, they love to be pursued. Just my take on it. They love to be pursued because it's like we're the hunter and we're hunting them. So if he really truly sincere about her, then he's gonna probably add a lot of game in there, but at the same time eliminate a lot of game to let her know like he really serious. I think women look for that, like if he's serious or not, like, and you know, they got a lot to deal with. They have a lot to deal with, more so than us men. You know, when it comes to choosing a man and getting to know him, opening up and this and that, they may have it a little harder because there's so many different men, so many different spirits of men coming at them. So if they're a woman of the Most High, it's gonna take that. It probably take that man a lot more to present to her like he's realistic. She got to see that. He's like he almost got to prove himself.
That's actually what I wanted to get at, because that's the difference right there. That's the key, and that's what I knew you were explaining. Just because you were talking about the different types of standards and stuff like that. That's a woman that's righteous, or at least trying to be, you know, righteous. You know, those there are standards there, and there are things that, you know, she requires in terms of, you know, she's looking long term. She's not looking for something different. And the problem is that it's a whole lot of something different right now. Meaning not with traditionally has been for male and female relationships. It's a whole lot of trickery out here on the part of men and on the part of women. So it's become a game as opposed to people being serious, which is one of the you know, terms you use. She's looking for someone that's being serious. She's checking to see if somebody's being serious. And right now, it's not a whole lot of being serious. The modern woman is not necessarily looking for a serious relationship. She's looking for what she can acquire from, or what she can acquire from a guy, or what she can get out of a guy, not necessarily looking long term. You know, and like you said, there's definitely some guys on some foolishness as well. But because of that, you know, the stakes are no longer long-term relationships. That's not the same motivation anymore. So, you know, and along with all of the different messaging of all of these different agendas, it's a lot of, you know, things have been redefined and people are confused right now. It's led us to where we are right now. we're going to take a look at another little video to kind of what we're talking about.
And honestly, Mark, it would not be hard.
It would
for
be
me.
very hard. It would be very hard.
Okay.
How do you know a man gonna love you right?
Right.
I guess you God then. Bible says that the heart is so deceitfully wicked, who can know it? So I guess you God. So I guess just because a man has money, oh, he's the one. There's a man who has money that's not committed. There's a man that has money who don't know how to love a woman. There's a man that has so it's hard. It's no way to say that. You gotta quit saying that. Immaturity tells you it's easy for you to get a man. Immaturity tells you that.
And so, and immaturity is telling her that because it's, you know, it's 100 people in her DMs that are saying all kinds of stuff. But again, there's a difference between relational attention and sexual attention, you know, completely different things.
I think the huge difference between men and women these days is that men are self-aware. And as women, we are not. We fail miserably to acknowledge our mistakes. We are unable to apologize for mistakes that we make. We are unable to see our faults. According to us, we are perfect and the world needs to catch up and understand. And if I was a man, I wouldn't like women too, because how do you deal with such a person? How do you fix the problem if the problem doesn't recognize itself? You know what I'm saying? So I think as women, we need to start being self-aware. We need to start acknowledging our mistakes. We need to start acknowledging where our faults are. And we need to start acknowledging that we're not perfect and that it's fine. Men do it. We can do it too. We are not perfect. It's absolutely okay.
So, and again, and I wanted to show that because it's more so to the point where the ladies is very difficult, I have to say, because there's so many different messages out here and so many things that are telling, women and people that, hey, this is correct, you're right for this, and you get tons of backup, saying the exact same thing, but it's the wide path and the narrow path, and the wide path is going to lead to destruction. So it's very difficult to discern the truth, that what's actually going to yield the results that long term, you're going to be happy with. So that's why that video was important, because a lot of attention, a lot of the ways of the world currently, a lot of the people men coming at women for unrighteous reasons, we'll just say, and saying some of anything, and things being appearing easy to some degree, it lends to delusion. So that's the self-awareness that lady was talking about, where it's difficult to be self-aware because you're seeing so much information that's untruthful, but you don't know it. So that's why we have to understand that, and that's the reason why we're one of the reasons why we're doing this Bible study tonight, because we have to understand what the original design was. So along with these different things, again, the way we like to understand things, where we understand things because it's true. We know that, we'll say it like this. We know that everything that Yahushua did, he did it for his woman. And who is Yahushua's woman? Israel, us. So everything he did. So when we look at the Bible, we see that there's a relationship between Yahushua, which is the man, and Israel, which is the bride. And of course, we have the Father as well. But these same relational dynamics that are between Yahushua and Israel, they exist on a human plane as well. So they really parallel between men and women. It's the same relationship between Yahushua and Israel, if we understand the context and what's really going on essentially behind the scenes. So the goal of Yahushua is to follow Yah's will and his plan, his Father's will and his plan. And a huge part of that plan is the woman. Remember, it was the Father that gave the Son that woman. So the woman is incredibly important. I never want to suggest that a woman is not important or lesser than. Nobody in this assembly thinks that whatsoever. What we do understand is that there's a design and there are different roles. There are roles that men have, and there are roles that women have. There is an order But because there's an order, that doesn't mean that anybody is diminished in terms of importance. So women are definitely extremely important. I think most men will say that, but we definitely want to make sure that that's well understood. We also want to make sure that men understand this in context as well. You know, women are incredibly important, as are the men. But we're saying that, you know, it's not a lesser than type of situation. It's just an order. So in order to complete the plan, it's essential. And I'm talking about the plan that the Most High has. In order for Yahushua to complete that plan, it's essential to be together with the woman. Like the man and the woman have to be together. Yahushua and Israel have to be together. The mission cannot be completed without her. It can't. But big problem. The woman left her calling. The woman left her mission, and she's been destroyed ever since. The woman has been destroyed ever since. Israel's been destroyed ever since. If we look at things from a human perspective, because the woman is not in the same role, the traditional role that was supposed to be in, the family structure is destroyed. The woman is destroyed. The man is destroyed too, to be honest with you. And the whole family structure is demolished. The Israelite family structure I'm talking about, most importantly, is in terrible shape as it stands right now. So now we have to focus on I'll say we have to focus on a sub mission, a mission that's below the main mission, the sub mission. And of course, Yahushua has to be in submission under the mission of his Father. But now the focus of the sub mission is to rescue the woman, because we got to get everything right again. So the submission has to be completed in order to accomplish the overall mission that the Father has for his son to fulfill. So she has to be, she has a big part in that, and so the son has to get her back. The man has to get the woman back. So now it's really just like the movie. It's just the battle is over a woman. There's a fight over a woman. So yeah, we can think about it. It's a pretty epic tale, right? So just like the movies, there's a hero and there's an adversary. So for most of the movie, I will say all of the advantages are held by the enemy. Like most of them are held by the enemy, and the hero has to climb over seemingly insurmountable odds and obstacles, and it seems like there's nothing he could do to conquer that enemy. But the villain seems to have all the power, all the wealth, the prestige, the influence and popularity. He's fun, but he's dangerous, unpredictable, and he's also non-committal. So everything seems to be in his hand, and people want to be around him. He's the popular dude. You know what I'm saying? He's the boss. So because he has all that wealth, all of these different things, his reach is far, his reach is long, but he offers no safety or long-term assurance for any of that. Now, if we look at the hero on the other hand, he hasn't reached his full potential. He hasn't reached his prime yet. If we look at this particular situation, he and a woman, they've been in an on again, off again type of relationship, but he's still developing, and he doesn't really have all of his resources just yet. He doesn't have all of the resources that he needs, everything that the woman would like him to have. She doesn't have all of those things yet, but it's reason to understand that it's a good chance it's going to come in the future. However, the woman is attracted to him, and she has she senses a strong pull from him in chemistry toward him, because again, they've been in an on and off again relationship. But right now in his life, he's still pretty low on the totem pole. For right now he is. So he doesn't really offer her any luxuries nor like the lifestyle that she finds really, really attractive right now. However, he does offer huge promises for the future that are bigger than her wildest dreams. The something that, I'll say something, things that she will want for the rest of her life, just huge things that she can't necessarily see right now. And she would love to have those things, and that will truly make her happy. However, she has to wait for it. She has to wait a long time for it. And she actually has to even commit. She has to have commitment, and she has to exert effort in order to achieve that end, because he's going to require that of her. She has to fulfill his requirements to get to that dream, because she's violated his trust. They've been on again and off again, so she's violated his trust before. So in order for him to fulfill these dreams in the future, she still has to prove herself to him. She has to fulfill requirements that he has. So if the woman imagines long enough, we'll just say if we were to get into her mind, if she imagines that scenario long enough, she could see a smidgen of the hero's potential, but even her imagination doesn't equal what she can actually see from the villain right now, the adversary, because he already has it. So all of that stuff, the cars, the house, the pot, she can look out and she can see all of that influence right now, and that's extremely appealing to her. Extremely appealing. So does everybody follow this whole scenario so far?
King, that's great input, great information, painting the picture real clear. I look at it, I mean, my perspective, everything you're saying, I agree. Just to add on to that, it's imperative that if they're going to make it to be one, the woman might be under this delusion that she's going to make it with the false narrative versus the ultimate narrative that the Most High have for her, and the guy that, you know, want to truly make the promises, keep the promises, do them. He understands that if he is on that path to doing that, how Yahushua is doing with us, then the woman will understand, like, she got to be open, be open mentally to be able to get on that path with him physically and spiritually. I think first spiritually, the mental is always there because we battle in our minds, but the spiritual part is first to mentally understand that this battle that she may be going through in her mind, Israel going through in their mind, is they can be dealing with delusional things that's not really real in the physical. And if they're not putting it together, because I put on the chat, the man has to appeal to the woman mentally, physically, spiritually, as well as the woman appeal to the man mentally, physically, spiritually. And that's being equally yoked with the Most High.
And you're right.
And understanding that they can accomplish the goals that they need to accomplish together. But she has to understand this. Just to totally understand. If she don't, she's going to stay delusional. She's going to stay out of her mind and not really truly be content or happy. And on the mental part, physically, she may have all the physical things, but she's not really happy.
It's going to be temporary. It's going to be temporary. And so so just like you said something real important. The spiritual side of it is really what brings the clarity to everything, because that's going to bring the clarity to mind. So that person can go after what's accurate and necessary in truth. Everything else is really a function of flesh and lust. That's what it's appealing to, you know. So all of these other temptations and stuff, we're gonna see how that plays out, because that's very, very, very true. And we're going to see exactly why there's this distraction. We talked about it a little bit. See, the woman doesn't quite understand how important and how pivotal she is in the big picture. She doesn't quite see that. So what she does see, however, she understands that she's in discomfort right now. She understands she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel safe. She wants to be in a better place, somewhere where, you know, comfort is king for the rest of her life. So she's looking chiefly for that. So she knows that she's not where she wants to be right now. So she's looking. Her mind is on her. How can I get to where I want to be? And so that's why we have in this world a bunch of distractions that up here that flash in her face. This is what you want. This is what you want. This is going to make you happy. This is what you want. And none of it is truly fulfilling, just like you said. So both the hero and the enemy know that the true solution, just as you just said, is the hero and the woman uniting. That's the solution. That's the solution. The hero and the woman uniting. But if they do, the enemy and all the enemy's forces will be crushed. Nothing can defeat the combination of the hero and the woman together. Just like you said, brother, nothing can defeat that. So the enemy, knowing this, does everything he can to make it difficult for the hero to get to the woman and win her over. That's why we have all these distractions. So most of the time, most of his time is spent, and this talking about the enemy in this situation, most of his time is spent driving a wedge between the hero and the woman, trying to lure her away with, like, you know, a constant array of enticing but very temporary temptations. Again, everything that you're saying, a whole bunch of temporary, but they're extremely enticing. So they seem like they're going to fulfill you, but they're just not going to. They're not going to fulfill the woman, just for a short period of time, and then that emptiness is going to return. So at some point, the woman has to make a decision. Soon the hero is going to count her lost and move on. So she has to make a decision. So she has to ask herself, what life does she really want? What life does she really want? Does she want the one that's going to be delayed for a while, and then all of her dreams she'll get them, but she's going to have to do some things for that? She's going to have to commit. She's going to have to hang in there in order to get that. Or is she ready? Does she want to go into the candy shop right now? It's all sweet and tastes great, looks great, colorful, all that type of stuff, you know. But that's only going at a certain point. You're going to get tired of that, and you're going to realize you don't have no real food. It's just sweet, and it got your senses all buzzed up. You know what I'm saying? And you're high. You got that sugar high. Feels great, but soon you're going to feel terrible, and you're going to feel empty. And you're going to need, not just want, you're going to need something else. But the problem is, while you're in that candy shop, when you first walk in there, you're blinded by the excitement of that candy shop, and you can't see beyond it because there's no spiritual context, which goes right back to what you were saying, brother. So we're going to look at something else real quick. So yeah, man, you dropping dimes on a whole lesson, huh?
I mean, hey,
you get it, man.
You know, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard. I believe it's going to be more hard for the woman than for the man. Judah Nick had his hand up. I want to hear what Judah Nick. I want to hear what Judah Nick has to say before I say what I want to say. I'll let Judah Nick say what you got to say.
This almost reminds me of, like, you know, Mario and Bowser and Princess Peach. You know, Bowser, Peach, Mario. None of y'all know that.
The game, man.
Yeah. Think about it though. Think about it. Bowser keeps stealing Peach, right? The so-called enemy. Mario has to go through all of these things to level up, to power up, just to go save Peach.
It's true.
And if Peach was self-aware that Bowser keeps coming to steal her, would she be stolen logically?
Right. She has the power to put it all to a stop and go back and go to Mario. You know what I'm saying? Game over, dog.
If you saw that movie, man, did you go see the movie? Because I've been begging to see that, man. I gotta take my niece or something, man. Before I go, man. I've been geeking to really see that movie. We gotta take a child that really enjoy it. That's a great point. That's almost at that level. With the woman being offered everything that she can be offered to her on the righteous side and on the wicked side, she can be blinded by these superficial things that the enemy may have to offer her, and she know deep down and subconsciously it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard.
That pull, that's that temptation.
Very hard. King.
I can have it now.
Right. And it's very hard to give up those things. Mm-hmm. It's not only that she's giving up, okay, this man that's laid the red carpet out for her, and I give you this, give you that, I give you a big diamond ring, give you the house, I give you the Jaguar, I give you all of the nice things. And not only that she has to be content, and her family's gonna love her. Her friends is going to love her. Her associates, acquaintances is going to love her. Mm-hmm. She is the kahuna of kahunas of women. Right. She got it. She got it. She got her man. Right. The way deceived, thinking that she got him in a pocket, got him locked down, but he's only controlling her, keeping her from her ultimate destiny, which the Most High is offering her, offering the man. It's going to be hard for her to let all that go.
The temptation offers.
The fact of letting all that go. She got to deny her family. Yeah. She got to deny the man that's offering her. She got to realize, okay, I don't want none of that. I want to come into this submission, like you were saying. Come under that submission. Come under that will. Be subjective to, okay, I'm gonna let all this crap go. Not only that, she got to realize that she got to walk away from her family. A man or woman loving their mother or father, brother or sister more than the Most High, they're not worthy of the kingdom. And that's another lesson that's going to tie to this lesson.
It does tie.
I have a lesson. I have a lesson that I'm working out that's going to tie to this lesson. But this is a great lesson, because our sisters need to really see this, because they have a lot of women out here that's dizzy. I call them dizzy airheads, man. Their heads is in the cloud. They not down to earth as they think they are.
It's like dog. They were man, so many things you said are so very relevant. But it's like they're walking into a store full of gifts. They don't have to do anything for it. They walked into a store full of gifts, and everybody's bowing down trying to give them gifts, so their heads are inflated. You know what I'm saying? Their perception of themselves is inflated because it seems like everybody's here to give me what I want. But none of it is long term. Like you said, it's all short term temptation. That guy, like in this scenario, like you were saying, he has all of these nice things and stuff like that, but offers no security, offers no commitment. There's nothing long term. But what he has is very enticing, even though he's not the total, the complete picture. Even though he's still doing a whole bunch of other stuff, on the side. You're so pressed because of this temptation is so enticing. Even if you get a sliver of it, it's so far from what you have right now. You get a little sliver of it, and you're head over heels and out of your mind, with it as well. We're gonna show this. This is gonna. Man, we can. You're right, bro. That's a whole nother lesson. We can go right into that joint, and I kind of want to, but I got to stay on course. But that's a great, dog. Look, you might have me building up a lesson simultaneously with you on that joint.
Absolutely, you took the thoughts right out of my head. It's gonna be a great lesson, King.
Yeah, seriously. Here's let me hit play on this joint.
Look at Cam Newton. He out here struggling. There's men out here struggling, and they got the 6'6". You know why? Because I think women are insatiable. They can't be satisfied. They always think that there's a better option behind door number one. Have you heard of the story of the woman who went through the department store looking for the perfect man? And every time she got to another section, there was a better man. And they say, if you want another better option, go to the next floor. And her ass kept going to the next floor and the next floor until she got to the top floor and said, sorry, that man doesn't exist. You passed up all the best available options. Go back down to the beginning.
God. And that's what's going on. And this is the result of that shopping trip takes a long time. So let's see what the result of that shopping trip is.
There was a study by Morgan Stanley Financial. They did you can go find it too. It's online. It's called The Rise of the She Economy. In that sort of research, they postulate that by 2030, women between the ages of 25 and 44, something like 52%. I hope I'm getting my numbers right. Something like 45 to 52%.
It's over half.
Yeah,
it is going to be over half
of women of marriageable age will be single for the rest of their lives. They will not reproduce unless they get unless they get artificial insemination, but they will be unmarried and childless during those ages by 2030, which is like a very, very steep incline. In fact, they are so certain of this that they did this research on Morgan Stanley so their investors would know what to invest in the coming decade.
You have to know how important that is and how soon that is. But again, You know, it said about for one thing, 2030. That's what 6.5 years away. That's a very short period of time, and 52% of all marriageable age women never to marry, never to have kids. That's devastating. So we can see the trajectory is absolutely crushing the family unit. Absolutely crushing the family unit. Let's look at something else.
Also, it said the marriageable age woman, so it would be on the younger side.
Yeah, it was talking about. I think it was between it was like early 20s and I can't remember what the other end of that age was. But like you said, marriageable. I'm like mid-30s. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, around those numbers. Yeah.
So that's like the prime of a woman's life. But see, the problem is because those are the prime time to be tempted, to be shown all of these flashy things, and you feel like the world is your what are they? The world is your, the world is your oyster. You know, so
pearl in the oyster.
So right, so it seems like you will have those options forever, but she doesn't find out until later on that she doesn't. So let's look at this one here. If I can find a play button.
That we women don't want to believe that there's something wrong with us, especially by the consumers, who are the men. See, we are the products. Ever since we were little, we were trained to present ourselves, to comb our hair, to press our dresses, put on a little makeup. Ooh, you so pretty. Even those who just had the pretty shoes was told they were pretty. We do not want to see ourselves as the defective product on the shelf. Now, a lot of women see women as the consumer, and that's who they're trying to impress. But if the consumer is unhappy with the product stays upon the shelf. And instead of being accountable and conforming to the demands of the consumer, the product is on the shelf getting all dusty and mad and blaming the consumer for not wanting to buy them. And sometimes it's best to just throw the whole product away. And that's what the men are doing. They're getting their passports and they're going shopping somewhere else. So good luck.
Going to Brazil.
They're going to Brazil. Yeah. So again, so we're just saying in the reason. So of course, you know, you have that is actually happening right now. So there are some things that are changing, but we also see how this is going to end up going to a Bible prophecy, and we've talked about that, you know, in classes before, how this is going to end up where you know the 7 women, it's going to be 7 women coming to one man, because men are basically going to be so disgusted with this behavior and pulling back that's beginning. The simps are keeping things going. The simps are keeping the women going right now. But at some point that's going to die out, because they're going to drain the simps. The simps going to get tired of it too. So that's going to bring the women back to either that or devastation in the world, which is also on the way right now. The world is changing. And it's going to be devastating, and all this other thing where I don't need no man. You're going to see very quickly that you do need a man to survive. So it's going to be either one of those things or both of those things simultaneously. It's going to be a huge shock. SHTF-ish hits the fan type of mentality, and things are going to return traditional real fast. But aside from that, you know, hopefully these things are kind of making sense, and we see how, like we were saying, that type of attitude that's being promoted in the world is being promoted by feminism. It's a trap. It's an absolute trap, and that's hey, I feel sorry for the ladies on one hand, and on the other hand, it's like, man, come on, get with it, you know, because, you know, like you said, mentally, that's just not great. You know, it's not very smart. But it's also deception, and that deception is going to lead us all down, because men are deceived too. I certainly don't want to put it all on women, but we can see that this story that we were kind of talking about, that's essentially what our lives are. So it's a constant battle. So we're talking about things from a human male and a human woman well, I'll say an Israelite man and Israelite woman perspective, but we're also talking about things from Yahushua in Israel perspective. So we see that this is a constant battle where it's Israel, meaning the men and the women, me and you, we're all getting trapped or trying to be lured into this trap. Lord, I always have problems with that word. Into this trap with a bunch of temptations of the flesh, and they are very enticing. And these things are all done to entice us away from who? From the man, from the husband, from Yahushua. Constantly. So it's trap after trap after trap, constant battle. They're trying to get us away from the hero. The enemy, the adversary is trying to get us away from the hero. So it's constant decisions that have to be made, and these decisions have eternal consequences. Eternal consequences. So we see, of course, as we're saying already, that the woman in the story will represent Israel. The hero will represent Yahushua. The adversary, of course, will be Hasatan. And we understand that Hasatan right now is the ruler of this wicked world. So he indeed, he appears to have all of this power. He appears to have all of these different things, and he is constantly trying to entice us. And those traps, those temptations, they are very, very strong, but they're temporary. So this is the battle of our lives, but it's also the battle for our souls. We got to understand that. Go ahead, brother.
Come on. Yes, I want to bring out. I mean, you hit a point that struck me, because I know when we're speaking about Israel, and we're speaking about the women of today, how they are, and you made an important reference as not just for the women, but is that prevalent for the men as well, because we're enticed by women that are no good. They entice us heavily, and we're weak in the area because we're visual, and we want what we want. We know we want the good Israel like sister that's righteous, that's modest in everything, and being the lady in the street and be his woman in the sheets. You know what I'm saying? We want that. But you have these other women, excuse me, out here that's making it easy for us to get to them. They give them the goods, whether it's a price on it or not. Man, I don't care about paying for it, the fun, and be rid of the trouble. You know what I'm saying? We know that off bucks. So it's just the same for our sisters.
Yep.
That they want a good man. They know they want a good man and everything, but they go for these brothers that may be no good. It may be good for a little while, but in the end, it's like sweet bread in your mouth when you first eat it, and like gravel afterwards. It's no good. So that's actually scripture from Proverbs. You know what I'm saying? Stolen bread is sweet when it's stolen bread is sweet when you first eat it, and it tastes like gravel afterward because it's it was stolen. It's no good. And our sisters, I don't know how much the sisters have to go through because I'm not a woman. I would love to hear some comments from the ladies about how they have to deal with men that are no good, men that don't mean them no good. They can drop the bag with you, take you shopping, show you a good time, this and that, but really are not soundly rooted in no truth at all. Because they're sounding rooted in truth, they're going to take you serious and try to establish something with you, build something, not on their own, but knowing that they need Yahweh and Yahushua to build that. A house cannot be built unless you count the cost. You can't walk together unless you touch and agree together. And it got to be, we have to be equally yoked with the Most High for that type of relationship to work. It's not going to work no other way. And even and then the beautiful part about it is that it could be a detriment that if you do come together, the man and woman do come together and be together, and they be one together in the Most High. They got to be strong because the enemy going to try to tear that apart.
The temptations don't stop, right?
The woman has to be, yes, they both have to be rooted in His word for the enemy. Like, what? Bad enemy, and get out of here. They should be having the enemy flee and tuck tail and run versus they breaking down and giving into the enemy and the wiles of the enemy.
I agree 100% with that. It's a constant battle. And again, if we understand what's really on the line, what's on the line is eternity. And right now, we're in the playground right now. This is the playground. So we have to deal with these things right now. So that's what this life is. So like you said, even, once you get married, you can't, if you're together in righteousness, which is what we were talking about before, there's nothing beating you because you're spiritually aware, you're aware in all senses, and Yahweh Shai is your king. So, you are aware, you're a team, so you have a better chance, again, and that's that three-strand cord right there. That can't be broken. With Yahweh Shai on top, and of course we actually have the Father, even higher than him. So we have those things we have to have that in our sight. So like you said a long time ago, brother, the spiritual side of it, for the Israelites, that's what ties everything together. It makes everything work. But you did ask about the ladies. Ladies, do y'all have anything y'all want to say? Whether hey, maybe do we have it all off? Are we completely off our rockers with the things that we're bringing out?
I would have to say you are correct in everything. As far as my own personal situation, we already know how a worldly man is, but I asked the Most High to give me a godly man because I knew it was going to be a difference. In my ignorance, and not knowing, the order of how it's really supposed to be between a man and a woman, and I see. In its truth, that is serious. Is nothing light in the world. We have to follow the Most High's orders, and and worldly people don't know that. They just having fun, and you find yourself on a merry-go-round, and not finding out what you really supposed to be doing.
God,
so
great words, and it's all too true. It's all too true. And we've all been caught up. And look, we all been caught up, and we're all healing right now. We're actually going to hit a script. My bad, Q. You had something to say? I don't know if that was the old hand. Raise it up.
I think also in this truth and the life that we've been living, Israel was really behind the 8 ball in all of the knowledge that we're supposed to have in Yahweh. Even our forefathers was behind the 8 ball, not keeping with the commandments and the laws and the statutes, keeping the holy days holy, keeping the Sabbath way off, because we've been all raised to believe in ideology, corruption, pagan idol worship, idolatry. Absolutely. So here it is. Now we coming from behind the 8 ball, like getting cues and light bulbs coming off. A lot of marriages that was supposed to be rooted and grounded in Yahweh was rooted in satanic worship, not knowing that they was grounding themselves in satanic worship, because Satan does attach demons to us. I was going to allow it because guess what? Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have no knowledge. So by us not having no knowledge, we was being destroyed by the enemy, by these wicked nations that we was sold into. But the Most High, we got to come out from those things, from those ways, to be aware. And a lot of us have been in broken marriages. That the person that we were married to had no root in this word. We never got married in church. I know I was married in the church. And it did not work out because it was under false teachings, false spiritual men and women that say they prophets or prophetess or reverends or pastors or bishops or whatever they want to call themselves, but they was not in this word rooted. So we went astray. So Satan had an open field, tearing and dismantling what was supposed to be built up in Yahweh. It wasn't going nowhere.
Then you go to
the merge wasn't going nowhere. The merge that we perceive to be a merge rooted and grounded in the Most High was going nowhere because we wasn't rooted and grounded in the Most High.
Then you go to then you go to marriage counseling at church, and that joint is even worse advice. You know what I'm saying? Lead you further away.
You're not getting no godly advice because they say, look, we close for the holidays, so come back. We gotta reschedule because we are, the holidays is around the corner, so we gotta reschedule and come back on Saturday. Put your check.
Right. Hey, with your Sunday's best on.
Breaking all the commandments, man. Breaking all the laws of the Most High, thinking we on the righteous path, which the enemy love it because, like, long as we stay dumbed down, not knowing who we are in the Most High, the Most High say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And there's plenty of scriptures to state how far off the path we are with him. You got to get back to him.
And man, like you said, dog, I mean, and we're going to go to another scripture that goes right into what you're saying. But even, seconding what you said, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Like, that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you're saying right now. And that's exactly what we have to understand is we are on we're being hunted. Israelites are being hunted specifically, so we have to understand that more it's very imperative that we do have that spiritual grounding and base. Without it, we'll be eaten up. Without it, we will be eaten up. Let's take a look at this because it also goes back to what you're saying. He's not going to force it, but he's always offered it. He's always offered it. Go ahead, Jude. Nick, you got something?
Okay. I was gonna say Sirach 26:3. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. So if people actually, read the scriptures and not destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and actually were, making sure their ideals lined up with the scripture, they wouldn't be in these marriages in the first place. So really, it always comes back down as, the father and his son being the cornerstone of the marriage. So
absolutely, brother. And like you said, like both of you said, locking into the scriptures, because the scriptures even tell you what to look out for. It tells you all of the stuff that causes the delusion of men and women. All the tips that you look. He warns us about, floozies, and he warns the women about the wayward dudes. We're warned about that type stuff. You know what I'm saying, in the scriptures. But like you said, the problem is that we lack of knowledge, bro. You lack of knowledge. Let's look at this. We're gonna go to Revelation 3:15 through 21. We're gonna hear it. We're gonna hear it out Yahweh Shai's mouth himself, because he didn't had enough. He's fed up, man. Revelation 3:15 through 21. Whoever wants to grab it.
Revelation chapter 3.
Yes, chapter 3, verse 15. We're gonna do 15 through 21.
Revelation chapter 15 through 21.
Chapter 3, verses
chapter
15.
3, yeah, Revelation chapter 3, verse 15 through 21.
Yes,
I know thou works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot.
All right, so just real quick, look, you either in this relationship or you're not in this relationship. I wish you were absolutely. I wish you would either just completely out of this relationship. That's cold. I already know where you are. Or you're in this relationship. That's hot. You're dedicated to me. I wish you were cold, or I wish you were either cold or hot. So you would define. You already know what course you're going to take. But go ahead. Let's go to the next one. 16.
So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
So since you want this on again, off again relationship, you're not fully dedicated to me, I'm gonna spit you out of my mouth. You're not fully dedicated to me. You're sometimey. Sometimes you're in the world, sometimes you're out of the world, sometimes you're into me. Then all of a sudden you're not. I'm gonna spew you out. You're either in or you're out. He that is not with me is against me. That's how It's a black and white thing with Yahweh Shai. He that is with me. Again, that doesn't mean that we can't make mistakes and stuff like that, but understand there are intentions of the heart that he sees that we may not be able to see, but there are intentions and sincerity of the heart that he sees that we may not be able to see. So you're either in this relationship or you're not. Go ahead, brother. 17.
Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked.
I don't need no man. That's what that is. Because you said, I don't need no man, but you don't even know that you're miserable, you're wretched, you're poor, you're blind, you're naked, you're not protected. But you're saying, I don't need no man. This is Yahweh Shai saying the same. Well, we were saying the same thing that Yahweh Shai was saying. Are we seeing this? Because that was the woman's rebuttal. This is Israel's rebuttal. I'm rich. I'm increased with goods. I have everything. I don't need anything. But you have no idea. You're delusional. This is Yahweh Shai saying you're delusional. Just like we just got finished saying. All right, go to 18.
I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that thou shame of thou nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
So if we were to go back to that story we talked about earlier, and the hero, he offered promises for the future. He offered promises for the future, and she would have all of her dreams. Everything will come true. Everything. So this is saying, look, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire. Invest in what I'm telling you. Commit to what I'm telling you about me, and you're going to get all these different things. So this is Yahweh Shai saying that same thing. Listen to my word. Listen to my commandments. Follow my commandments. I'm offering these different things to you so that you won't have any more shame in your nakedness. You won't have all of that's going to disappear. I'm going to give you eye salve so your eyes will be healed and you'll see. You're not going to be blind anymore. All of these things that he said, you're wretched, you're miserable, you're poor, you're blind, you're naked. He's saying, listen, take of me, and I'm going to make sure that stuff doesn't happen to you, or I'm going to heal you from these different things. So again, go ahead.
King Salaka, and that's the trying in the fire. Like when we acquire of the Most High's ways, all of the things that all of who we are, because we're going to bring all those things unto Yahweh of the world. Mm-hmm. The Most High, when we've been trying to fire, that we're to be made as pure as fine gold, meaning we're not going to have all that worldliness on us anymore. We're going to become rich and beautiful before the Most High. Like real gold trying to fire, all the dross, all the no good stuff comes off. It's burned up in the fire. And we not burned up, but we're consumed in that fire, but we're consumed to the point of being made pure, to be made rich, like the verse is saying, that thou mayest be rich and thy raiment be white raiment, meaning it's like a new renewal.
Sure, yeah.
In the Most High. And outside, like we can see that clearly now, with instead of with darkened eyes. I love that verse, man.
The awesome one, man. All of that delusion is gone, all that worldliness is gone. We're in the world, but we're not of this world. So we got to get rid of the world and us. The only way to do that is to return to the Father and the Son and His Word and keeping those commandments. That's how we flush all that stuff out. Let's hit 19.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
So in other words, I have requirements, and I'm gonna tell you I have requirements. Again, it's for your own good. So I love you. That means I love you. So I'm going to rebuke you. I'm rebuking you and I'm going to reprove you because I love you. So repent for, acknowledge what you did wrong and repent for it. Turn back from it. And let's get back to what we were talking about in verse 18. So we can get this process going You can be tried in the fire, you can be refined, and you can get this dream these things that I promised you long ago. But there's a process, and there's something required of you. Let's go, verse 20.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me.
So he's offering. He's not breaking the door down. He's letting you know, look, I'm here. Everything I'm offering is right here. I'm letting you know. All you got to do is open the door and let us eat together. Just like we were talking about Passover, and he's talking about, you know, he's the lamb. Person has to eat of him, and drink his blood. This is that same thing. You're taking him in. You're taking in his ways, and you're living according to what he says. And also, this relates to a knock ritual, you know, in parts of Africa, which is basically a wedding ritual. Is really what the knock ritual is. That's a lesson for another day. Let's do 21.
To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne.
So again, there are things that there are commitments that you have to fulfill. No, look, right now, if you go to the enemy, if you go to the adversary, yeah, you're going into the little gift shop right now, you know, and he's going to make it seem like you don't have to go through anything. And yeah, that's easier, but that's going to be over in a flash. And you're not even going to know. Your whole world's going to be turned upside down like ours has been, you know, historically speaking. And you don't even, and to the point where, we don't even know what's going on. Our people are completely asleep because of us turning away and us going for that temptation in the world. So we have to get away from that stuff. We have to return back and get away from those things. So that means we have to go through. We have to stay. We have to endure. We have to overcome. We have to overcome that time frame that in that story that the woman has to wait. She has to endure. It's not immediate gratification, as opposed to what the enemy was offering her. No immediate gratification. You have to endure this time. You have to overcome seeing these other temptations out there and staying strong and staying in this relationship so that you can get everything, get that seat on the throne as he's talking about, you know. So there's a long-term requirement here. So there are things that the woman has to do. So now, you know, we have to understand again that there's been trouble in this relationship, the whole on again, off again. She's been lukewarm. You know, so she has requirements. Yes, the hero has to rescue her, but she also has to show the hero that you're worth rescuing. I mean, I'm not trying to rescue a ratchet that's going to destroy the rest of my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's a woman, but she's a ratchet one. So why am I going to risk everything to rescue that joint and then the rest of my life is destroyed? You know, nah. She has requirements that she has to fulfill, you know. So now, whereas we started off before, we were talking about a man has to figure out what attracts a woman, and he has to become that thing so that he can attract a woman and learn what keeps a woman. Whereas today's women, the modern woman, is used to just receiving and not thinking about what a man wants whatsoever. That's why the woman in one of the very early videos, she was like, my job is to love myself. Look, if I decide to do this with a woman, with a man, if he'll love me if I love myself. Everything was based on her. She wasn't thinking about what the guy, I don't care what the guy wants. I don't even think about that. It's all about her. So that's how the modern woman and what feminism is driving women and teaching women not to care about the man, not to even consider what the man wants. It's all about the man serving the woman. That's what they think. And that's going to lead to destruction, as we're seeing right now. So all that has to be flipped around, and the woman needs to know, what are these commitments that I have to fulfill and how do I do them? Just like Yahweh Shai is saying, you have these things, you know, what's that verse? My burden is light, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. There are requirements, you know, so the woman has to understand how to do that. So she has some figuring out to do. She has some thinking to do. She has to work her way out of that delusion on purpose, or she's going to stay there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a problem. So we're going to look at a couple of other things real quick. So we see that everybody has to be on the same page. We understand that the woman is Israel. The hero in that story from before is Yahushua. Just summing all of that stuff up. We also know that we also want to make it clear that these things are also what men find attractive for the long-term relationships, and that used to be the goal of women. They wanted a real marriage. That's what they wanted to get to, a long-term relationship, and men wanted that as well. And all of that stuff is kind of fizzled out with the way that these times have been. So we're discussing these things because we got to get back to that, because that's the key to Israel strengthening itself as a nation. The strength of that nation, the base of that is the family, the strong Israelite family unit, which is currently broken in large part. So we have to understand these fundamentals so we can get back. So understanding this will help the righteous, as you were talking about earlier, Q, the righteous Israelite woman on her spiritual quest, as you also said, as well as fulfilling her wifely duties. This is going to help her get there. So we're going to show a few other things to kind of help out there. Go ahead, Q.
Can I read? Well, I want to iterate on something. Everything that you're saying, correct, absolutely 100%. Verse 21, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne. Yahweh has given Yahushua a portion of the throne. So he's coming back for Israel, deliver Israel for the lost sheep. Even as I also overcame Yahushua went through temptations the same way we go through temptation. The same thing that he had to pray his way through a lot of things. When we look at the 40 days in the wilderness, the only reference they show in the Bible is when he was tempted coming out of the wilderness. But the whole 40 days that he was in there, he was tempted by everything wicked. That's why he was the one he overcame. He overcame the enemy with the word. The enemy tried to deceive him, try to make him feel like that. You know, he was hungry. He fasted for 40 days. He was weak, but he was made strong way of the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. The angels comfort him. So we go through this. We're gonna go through the same trials and tribulations that he went through. The same way he referenced us in Matthew 5, where he say, if they come after you, they persecute you for my sake. So we're gonna have to go through the way he went through, not to the magnitude that he went through when he was whipped and torn up. He bore our sins in him so that we can be overcomers in everything that we go through here on earth. We're gonna go through it. He's presented it, saying he overcame, and he made it so that we can be overcomers with him to sit in his throne. The way he was sitting in Yahweh's throne, we're gonna be sitting with them on the throne, in heaven, behind the gates.
He led by
example. That's all I wanted to say to that.
And Lahava actually said the same thing I was about to say. He is our example. He led by example. The man is the head of the family, right? He leads the family. Yahweh, just like Sister said, man, Yahushua led this family. He led by example. He showed us the way that we have to go. So we have to follow his lead. We have to follow the leader. We got to follow the man. It parallels directly with with our family. So that's a great point, sister. Great point. And it's so true. 100%. Got another one to show. I can figure these buttons out. All right.
The colonizers have done such a great job of dividing us as Black women and Black men, from slavery to the 80s crack epidemic to now with social media. We are more divided than ever. And I pray that we can put our differences aside, heal ourselves as individuals, and come together and structure better family units moving forward. Because if we don't fix our beefs internally, then we're just going to continue this nasty narrative. And I don't see no other race grieving and like beefing publicly. I don't. So I pray that we get it together. I pray that we heal ourselves as individuals. And if we can't do it in our generation, then help the younger generation make better decisions and choices. So happy healing.
Absolutely. So just like she's saying, just like that, her observation, the fact that you don't see any other men and women of particular races or ethnicities going at each other like Israelite men and women. That lets you know that this is an agenda and things are being orchestrated to push us. Messages are being orchestrated in order to push us in that direction. It's not happening with anybody else, and it's not an accident. It certainly is part of the curses, but you know, people are working within those curses. Other nations are confederate against us. We have to understand that we're a target. We're more important. The woman is more important than she understands. Israel is more important than Israel understands. We don't get it. So we have to understand that. Just like we were talking about, the woman doesn't understand how intricate she is, how vital she is to making this whole thing work. So Israel has to get that understanding. All right.
The whole point of submission is you don't ask him why.
Yeah, you
it's
just
like,
agree.
it's like we
You
had a
just
girl,
agree.
Maggie, on the show, and they said he asked you to take down your social media, and she has the most mild cooking stuff. She just said it wouldn't even be a conversation. And so it's like, but it's so unheard of from women to just listen to men.
Mm-hmm.
Not, you know, it's not every man. Like, don't listen to the homeless man on the street. You know? But you know what I'm saying.
Why men are attracted to women that don't seem to try hard. And the ones that are trying hard, they tend to be like, oh, never mind. Let's get into it. Because that type of woman is taking it slow. She's not applying pressure. She expresses attraction. She expresses interest. But she's not trying to force anything. I've said this before. Looks get you in the door, but they don't keep you there. So what about that personality though? A woman who's not about the drama, not about playing games. A woman who isn't for everybody. Seems to have some standards about herself. She values herself, and everybody can see it. She's not thirsty for attention. She's not trying to control the process. She's secure with herself. When a woman values herself, she has standards. She ain't for everybody. She's not trying to control the process. It makes it easier for a man to trust you and therefore desire more from you. Why men are attracted to women that don't.
Very, very, very true. Yeah, one more.
Why do we think that good men value our education, our careers, and our incomes? They don't care about that stuff. A good man usually don't care about your education. I mean, that's the first thing that we will say is, oh, we have a great career. We have a PhD, a master's degree, a bachelor's degree. We have a 6-figure income. We own our own homes. And granted, those are great accomplishments. Those are great achievements for your personal lives, but that's not what men usually look for in a woman. Why is it that we don't understand that men value peace? He values respect. He values love and loyalty and femininity. When a man has been out in the world dealing with chaos and disrespectful people, he doesn't want to come home to chaos. He wants to come home to peace.
100%.
Hallelujah.
It's true. And again, this is there are things that are important for women as well, but we're talking about our ladies right now are out of line. Men are out of line as well. But we're going to get to the guys because we need help as well. We got to correct ourselves as well. But this is a critical piece because, like I said, the woman does not know how important she is. The woman is either going to be the jet fuel that's going to make that man take off and be able to conquer everything, or she's going to be the what you could like the thick clunky oil that's going to ruin the engine and make him die and not be able to and rust out and not be able to do anything else. She's the fuel. She's the fuel. She's very, very important. So we're gonna get into a little bit. So we were talking about those conditions and what you know, what the woman has to do, what is going to appeal to the man. The man has to learn what appeals to the woman. Well, what the woman also needs to learn what appeals to a man. So we're going to go to Ephesians 5:33. Ephesians 5:33. I'll share my screen in just a second. Ephesians 5:33. Something.
Ephesians 5:33.
Yes, sir. All right. There we go. Got it up on the screen. Ephesians 5:33. Whoever wants to grab it.
I'll grab it. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
So we did discuss this, and we have a whole teaching surrounding this, a whole series surrounding this, which I think is really, really important for us to understand a lot of things pertaining to not just men and women, but also Israel and what we need to do, you know, for Yahushua. So we see that nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself. Did Yahushua love his wife? He died for his wife, did everything for his wife, as we talked about in the very beginning. His whole impetus is, well, the main impetus is doing what his father commanded him to do, but a big portion of completing that, what his father told him to do, is to do things with his wife. His wife is out of order, so he has to curtail everything in order to go and rescue his wife, to get her back in order, so that he can complete the mission that his father gave him. So that was the whole hero adversary thing we talked about before. So he's loving his wife. He didn't forget about it. He's doing everything for his wife. Now, this is the part that we have to focus on, because Israel is the wife. So this is the part that we have control over. The wife see that she reverence her husband. Reverence is another way of saying respect, and that's incredibly critical. Not only is it critical to the relationship and the way that men and women function, it's also incredibly important to giving the man what he needs, like that fuel. Just like a woman needs love or needs to feel love, a man needs to feel respect, even more so than love. Not saying we don't like love, we like that too, all that type of stuff, but what gets us going is the reverence and respect. It's a huge deal. So it's pretty vital. If a man is not respected by his woman, there's going to be a deep feeling of resentment. It's going to be a very deep feeling of resentment toward her. If that respect or that reverence is not there, then her significance in his mind, it decreases drastically, because she's not showing him any kind of reverence or anything like that. So her significance, her importance to him goes down, because she's not providing that fuel. She's not being the woman or the wife that he needs her to be. So it goes down to the point to a point where he no longer even cares for her. So just like he doesn't care about her happiness, or and maybe very little about her well-being. So I know, like, sometimes actually I had a friend who was complaining about her husband's not being very affectionate and stuff like that, she's threatening to leave, and we're having thoughts about leaving and stuff like that. The more we talk, the more I uncovered how she talks to him not so good, like disrespectful. So what that does is shuts the man down. So he can't, nor does he even want to love the woman, because she's disrespecting him. She's disrespecting him. So that whittles him down. It whittles him down. So this is why I was saying, you can either be the jet fuel, or you could be the clunky old dirty oil that kills the engine. That's the power that a woman has. That's how significant a woman is, and that's why the enemy chose a woman to get to the man. The enemy couldn't beat the man by himself, so that's why he had to go to the woman, because the man trusts the woman and will be open to a woman. So he'll be open to receive either that respect / love or wounds if she decides to, take him down. And that's why, like, a woman can't beat a man physically. She can't. Most of the time, we'll say we got some tough we got some tough ladies out this joint. You know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, women cannot defeat a man physically. It's just not going to happen for the most part. But a woman's mouth, goodness, that little member that they talked about in that they speak about in the scriptures. It could be death by the tongue. The woman knows that manipulation and the power of her mouth. So that's something that's thanks, sister. That's in James. So that is her power. So she can either motivate, and by that she can uplift not just the man but her entire family by the way that she is, by the way she presents herself, or she can drag everybody down into the mud and dirt, the whole family. So extremely integral is the woman to the family and to the well-being of the entire unit, and again that goes all the way up to the nation of Israel, because the family unit is the base of that. So when we look at it, women have allowed feminism to convince them to rob themselves of their own value. It's terrible. What does feminism teach? Independence from men.
I'm a boss bee.
Yeah, bro. Exactly. Debauchery and some more stuff. I'm a boss bee. All of this stuff that is she's taking her. Look, she wants to be the boss, but then she complains when nobody's helping her. Like that first video said, well, one of the first videos said, like, don't call me strong and independent anymore, because nobody wants to help strong and independent. But then she gets mad when no one's helping her or no one's seeing what she's doing or her value, because she's trying to compete in the terms of that men communicate, or the things that are the way that men move and the way that men communicate. But that's not valuable to men. That's competition to a man. I'm in competition with this other guy. So if my woman is acting masculine, then she's not acting feminine. She's being combative with me. She's being my adversary. And this is what feminism is teaching women to do, as opposed to being the opposite, so that we feed each other. She's being feminine. So feminism is teaching independence from men. I don't need no man. Disrespect toward men. I can treat men however I want and still get my way. I can still go to the candy shop and get everything, do whatever. Women should lead, or at least lead equally. That's what feminism is saying. Women don't have to be accountable. They never have to repent for anything, never have to apologize, no consequences. Women can behave in a masculine manner. It's teaching them sexual promiscuity, which is destroying their value, among other things. Femininity is looked down upon, aside from purposes of seducing men to get something from him that she wants. The femininity is being looked down upon. It's being looked down upon for a woman to want to stay home and raise her family, raise her children. Feminism looks down on that. They want the woman to be straight career focused and not family oriented whatsoever. It's teaching rude and very prideful behaviors. It's teaching materialism. All these things make your value plummet outside of boning. A woman reduces herself to good for nothing but sex from a man. And again, that's fleeting. A guy that's in this world he'll say and do anything, bone you, and you'll never hear from him again. Because that's the maximum value that you have. You're not good for anything else if you're following along with that movement. It's going to lead you to nothing. Completely devalue. And again, that gets us to that statistic later on, where so many women of marriageable age by 2030, over 52% will never be married or have children. It's destruction. So we have to get away from that. All of those things that we listed, those are all things that men hate. And that's the stuff that the Most High hates it. He hates it as well. Yahushua hates it. We just read it in Revelation. So that's stuff that's just going to destroy a relationship. So men that love Yah and love Yahushua and are spiritually bound and relationship oriented, that stuff, you become nothing to you're no longer in the picture. You moved yourself out the way. You're not even in the picture anymore. So all your value is gone. So the feminist movement has bamboozled women and some men, like we said before, and it was done on purpose. The stuff that's right, interdependent, not independent. Thank you, sister. Absolutely, interdependent, not independent. Just like that, the video said, and that's the way we're supposed to be together. That's where our strength is, you know. So by doing these things, most men will not take you seriously, and these are the complaints that you hear about from women when they're complaining about men. Guys are not taking it. How can you take her seriously when she's behaving this way? When she doesn't honor herself, when she doesn't honor the Most High, when she doesn't honor her man, how can you take her seriously? You can't. She's devaluing herself by listening to the things of this world. It's taking you down the wrong road, the wrong road. That's down that wide path. So you're thought of this as disgraceful, only good for one thing, maybe. I'm sorry, I went back in time a little bit there for a second. That's the giggle. But we're not there anymore. but just like that other video said, due to like a lack of self-awareness, most women won't even realize that they're devaluing themselves and that until all the attention, all of their DMs and stuff like that has gone away. That's not going to be till like mid 30s, early 40s. And then they'll slowly begin to hit the wall and figure out and like, hold up, something's different now. And it's going to be a little too late for a man that they may like that actually wants a family, because a woman, moves out of her prime birthing years, during that time frame. It becomes very difficult for most women to have have a baby at that point. So it's destroying your prime years by listening to that movement, if I didn't say it enough already. So you have to really get out of that delusion, and the key to that is going to those scriptures like Q said before. So it's like you're convinced to no longer stay home and raise the kids, but instead you want to go to work hard every day. Now you have less time to find a husband, you got less time to raise your kids, you have a harder life, you become less attractive to men, you become more like a man, and you ruin your families. You end up in unhappy marriages, because we know that women are, I forgot what the statistic is, but it's mostly, typically it's like 70%, might be a little bit more than that, women are the ones that are initiating divorce. And if a woman has an advanced degree, it's like 82%. The divorces of women that have degrees, 82% of those divorces are being opened up or filed by women. So overall, these things are giving you false expectations and leading you down an unhappy and a very dissatisfied road, just like the woman in the story. You see all these temptations and these things that are flashed out at you that seem really, really, really good, but in the end, it's going to be death and demise, and you're never going to get what you want in the first place, which is why we need Yahushua and the things that he promises. So we have to come under his yoke. So a woman's value in the eyes of a man is directly tied to her functioning in order. Just like we're seeing Yahushua follow obey my commandments. That's Israel functioning in order, obeying in order. So she could be the most beautiful woman that's ever existed, but if she doesn't operate in order, she becomes worthless in the eyes of a man. Because again, what good is she? She becomes worthless, and she'll be used just like that, either directly or indirectly, or maybe first directly, then indirectly, and disposed of, because the value's gone. And we don't want our sisters to be like that anymore. Unfortunately, there's way too many of our sisters that are like that now, and again, brothers as well that are doing the wrong thing. But we are a nation of kings and priests. We are of the utmost value in the eyes of the Most High, but we have to understand what our value is. We have lost that concept. We have to understand what our value is, and not go by the ways of this world, which are telling us that we're nothing, and we're acting that way. destroying ourselves and destroying our family. So again, all these things are completely out of order and the opposite of how the Most High means for women to act. And I don't know, we might go there. So likewise, these are the same things that Israel has done toward Yahushua, as we just said. And we got cursed for it. He had to discipline us for it. We're still under that discipline now. So he made us to work together, just like the sister just said, interdependent, not independent. We're not supposed to be adversarial. So this goes for, again, woman and man, Israel and Yahushua. We all have to be in order. Does that make sense, guys? We're gonna hear it. We're gonna hear what the Most High thinks. Look, y'all will probably be able to see this in everyday life, unfortunately, or at least be able to relate to it. We're gonna go to Isaiah 3:16. Isaiah 3:16. Isaiah 3:16. We'll be done in just a second. Isaiah 3:16. We're gonna go Isaiah 3:16 through 26. Let me share my screen. Isaiah 3:16 through 26. Whoever wants to grab it.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. That wickedness.
Hold on. Is this Isaiah 3?
Oh, dang. I'm tripping, man.
It's all good.
I'm tripping. I'm Salaki, King.
You good, bro. Isaiah 3?
Isaiah chapter 3. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mimicking as they go and making a tingling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord Yahweh will discover their secret parts.
So real quick at 16, we can see this ain't nothing but attitude right here. The daughters of Zion, those are our ladies, are haughty, attitude, walking with stretched forth necks. That's the neck with the attitude and the rolling of the necks and stuff like that the ladies know how to do so well. The wanting eyes, that's the seductive eyes, walking and mincing as they go. That's the chick with the real nice walk. She's switching, all of that type stuff, and making a tinkling with their feet. So again, these are the things that were attractive back in that time. Those might have been the jewels or those things. Well, never mind. Let me. All right, but so the things that might be found attractive today. But again, so in that day, we see that these things does that identify our sisters? Unfortunately, does that
with their baldness, they scab bald heads from putting chemicals in their head and wearing these wigs and sewing in this fake horse mane hair, man, other people's hair. They don't know that those things have spirits, and the Most High that's why their hair fall out and they have so much trouble with the hair. That's why he says he's gonna. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Meaning, they're going to reveal everything. It's not going to be like they have anything for the man to imagine what's under, what is to be revealed to her husband, and she's revealing everything to
everybody.
From my perspective, from this. To everyone, she's showing off everything.
And him discovering her secret parts, that basically means that he's going to embarrass her. He's going to embarrass her. All of this stuff that he's going to embarrass her. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it there. Let's go to 18. We'll do 18, and we'll take it down to 26. Okay.
In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cows and their round tires like the moon. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils.
All of that stuff that made you so fine and so attractive. All that stuff you wearing, all of your perfumes and your tight clothes and your this, that, and the other. All of that stuff is taking them away. It's taking them away. So of course, women, women like to be beautiful, and hey, men like women to be beautiful as well. So a lot of their esteem and their value is tied up in their beauty, their how they are physically. He's removing all of that stuff that accentuates that stuff, bringing you back down bare, breaking you down, all because of disobedience and disrespect, like we talked about. All right, brother, go ahead. 24.
And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And stanky. And instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girdling of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. The men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground.
So all of these things, all those punishments, and again, we even see the men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war, because the men have been the unrighteous men have been dealing with unrighteous women, and those men are going to be punished as well. And because the men fall, the women are in a destitute condition. Now the entire nation has fallen, and there's no safety, there's no protection. So her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground, defeated. So these are the things that are at stake. And again, we have to understand how vitally important the woman is. She's incredibly important. We're gonna take a look at something else real quick. Let me get over there. But are these things making sense to everybody? It might sound like I'm going hard on the ladies or something like that, but look, we all have to be rebuked and corrected, and like I said, we will get to the men as well, because we need it as well. But sisters, y'all got to understand these things, and how important you guys are to the nation and to the Most High. That's why you have to be rebuked. He chastens those he loves, and we love you guys, so we do the exact same thing that our Savior is. As soon as I can find a button, I'm looking. Okay, maybe it's over here. No, there we go. Okay, here we go.
Let's have this discussion. Some women need to understand, in order to be a prize to a man or be something a man wants to go after, you have to be that woman. In order to be that woman, you have to understand this man has expectations, and you have to follow them. Which means this man probably doesn't want a woman that talks back. He doesn't want a woman that wears weave, all these wigs that you wear. He doesn't probably want you to wear makeup every day. He wants you in the house. He doesn't want you out with your friends all the time. He doesn't want you twerking on social media. And he probably doesn't even want you to have social media. You have to understand that the man that you want to go after, you have to follow a man's rules. And it's not just for certain men. It can be any man that you go after. They all have an expectation they want in a woman.
True.
Con, hallelujah.
Absolutely true.
But
here we go. Sorry about that.
Is a high-valued woman.
A feminine woman. That's the greatest quality you're going to find within a woman, right? Because a woman that is truly tapped into her feminine nature is a nurturer. She is a healer. When she has that healing and that nurturing, and not only that, she is a multiplier. Meaning that anything that you give her, she will help you multiply. Today's women are takers, right? They just want to receive. They don't know how to take what is given to them and help multiply it. Think about what a woman has that a man doesn't have, and that's a womb. What we give her, she takes that within her womb, and she got that big womb energy. She gonna multiply, right? She's going to produce. Your job is to give her something healthy to produce. A man has a vision. A woman helps produce that vision into reality.
The fifth wave of feminism is here, and it's going to change the world as we know it. My prediction, this is going to be a counter movement to the fourth wave, where women start embracing their femininity instead of tearing down masculinity. Cool, women have joined men in the workforce, but now they've realized that they've lost sight of the things that actually make them strong women, like their warmth, their love, and their ability to nurture the people in their lives. They're realizing that they're now in debt to sexual liberation and hookup culture. It ruined them, and now they're realizing that competing with men resulted in no fulfillment whatsoever. They just serve their male boss instead of the man in their home. All for what? 12 weeks of paid maternity leave? Yeah, you could keep that. Feminism destroyed the traditional family and the natural dynamics between men and women. And now women are waking up. We're going to see a fifth wave, and the women that lead it will be the ones that recognize masculinity maintains society, while femininity maintains life. Welcome to the fifth wave, my guys.
Yeah, that's beginning. That is beginning, slowly but surely.
Who would have ever thought packing my husband's lunchbox would be so controversial? I've been getting so many comments talking about how, why can't he pack his own lunch? He's such a baby. Why are you doing this for him? This is so embarrassing for you. No. He deserves a hot lunch. He deserves a good meal. He goes to work every day and works for our family. I pack his lunch because he deserves it, just like our family deserves to be taken care of too. I do this because we're a team.
So did y'all get the reverence out of that? The appreciation out of the things that she was saying? Do you think that man, he will do everything he can at work to do whatever he believes will make her happy because she's looking out for him?
She would be a priority for him. He's gonna make sure that she's secure.
Yeah,
she covered. He gonna work it out. If she maintain her, I call it a lane, because every woman has their lane with the Most High. Yahushua Ba'Sham. Every man has his lane. If she's doing her lane, he's gonna see that as an ultimate blessing from the Most High, and vice versa. And that's the unity. That's the one hand washing the other. That's the building towards whatever they want. We read that the Most High will bless that woman, giving us, not just her, but us in the unity with him, that union, that everything that we need. We're not gonna want for anything.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's just like as we started out before, that's the design. Like he designed it. Like, he designed it. So he designed the way things are supposed to be. And he expects and operates that exact same way with Israel. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply his order. So we're supposed to multiply that order even within our own families. So that's why we see a direct parallel between these things. It's the same thing over my son. It's the same. Hey, you want to come over here and show yourself to everybody, bro? Yeah. Walking right here, man. Yeah. So anyway, so he shows us. He gives the exact same dynamic that we're supposed to express in our own families, and that's going to build strength. That's going to be the foundation of that nation. And again, together, if we're working together, as we've discovered, as she said, as we've said earlier, nothing can defeat us. Nothing. With the proper head, nothing. And the proper head is Yahushua. All right, we're going to wind down here. Let's go to John 14 and 15, because the ultimate question is, if reverence and respect is the answer, how do we do that? How do you show respect? What makes respect? What makes up respect or love in the eyes of Yahushua? And again, it's the same thing or similar thing, with a man. So let's see what that is. What makes that up, so that ladies know, and also so that Israel knows how we're supposed to be doing with our King. Let me share my screen.
John chapter 14, verse 15.
Yeah, 14 and then 15, and after that we're going to skip to 21. John 14 and 15.
John 14 and 15. If you love me, keep my commandments.
That's a mouthful right there. That's your respect and your reverence. Let's go to 21.
He that have my commandments and keepeth them, it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him.
So love to Yahushua is keeping his commandments. You don't love him if you don't keep his commandments in his eyes. And we're talking about the way he sees things. What you see and what you say does not matter. This is what the King says. Let's go to 23.
Verse 23. Yahushua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him.
24.
He that loveth me not keepeth not my sayings, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me.
Let's read that one more time. It says, he that loveth me, he that loveth me not keepeth not my sayings. So if a person doesn't love him, then he doesn't keep his sayings. He's making it very black and white. If you love me, that means if you keep my sayings, that means you love me. If you don't keep my sayings, that means you don't love me. And the word which ye hear is not mine, but it's the Father's which sent him. So it's not even him that's saying that. This is with his Father, because he only does what his Father says. You know. So this is the order, and this is very cut and dry. So just like women want love and all that type stuff, Israel wants love. We want love from Yahushua. He wants obedience and respect, which is in his eyes keeping his commandments, keeping his word, keeping his sayings. Those are all commandments, laws, statutes, and commandments. So if we look at respect, what is respect? Respect, hold on for a second, let me get this off. Respect is submission, obedience, faith, devotion, appreciation and praise, being in order, and it's accountability and repentance. Those are all the things that's what respect looks like in the eyes of a man, and that's what respect looks like in the eyes of Yahushua. Let me see, got one more here. I know we're getting close to bedtime here. All right. Same thing every time. Okay, here we go.
Your secret is in listening to your husband. Your secret is in doing those things that please him. When you don't do those things that please your husband, you take the role of a mother, or you take the role of an older sister. What happens automatically is he starts seeing you differently. The reaction he has for those that try to tell him what to do will be the reactions he'll have towards you. Then you start saying, I don't understand. You now become anyhow. You know the meaning of anyhow? First, you would dress as you choose because he doesn't tell you what to do. You will act as you choose because he doesn't tell you what to do. You will do what you like because you are your own boss. And you know what? A man loves the one he serves and the one that serves him. He fights the one that is at the level with him.
Competition.
You see it? So when you find your husband trying to tell you who's the owner, who's the owner of this car, who's the owner of this, you say, are we not together? You are supposed to be together. But there's a problem. When someone starts telling you, I'm older than you, there's a reason. There's a reason. Because it's supposed to be obvious. It means you're in rebellion. and is trying to re-emphasize some things for you. Don't make your life hard. Listen to me. To be happy in your home and in your marriage is the easiest thing in the world. Just take your role. Take your place. That place that God gave you is a beautiful place. It's a place of peace. It's a place of love. It's a place of excellence. When you come out of it, you find it's not a husband you have. You call him a husband, but it's not a husband. It's like what Jesus said. They call me Lord, Lord, but they don't do what I tell them to do. Actually, every wise person listens to wise voices. But he will listen to a wise voice that is presented wisely. Everyone rebels against the voice that tries to make a fool out of him. So even when you tell, I remember S.G. Elton, an old man of God years ago, a Briton who came to live in Nigeria for many years before he died. He made a statement. We were in a meeting with him, and he said, the best way to destroy what you're trying to say is to try to teach your teachers. So you destroy what you're trying to say. For some of you, the only reason you hold on to, you think that when your husband has a particular idea, you must have the opposite. If he says it's this way, that is when you will now say it's that. The only reason is because he said it's that way. Of course, some husbands are like that too. The only reason they refuse that idea is because the wife said it. But I tell you, it must be the way you said it. Present it as a suggestion, a wise suggestion. Why can't you just humble yourself and be wise, be smart? A wise woman will always be an influence to her husband. A foolish one will always annoy the husband, make him mad, make him angry. And when you make him angry, you'll be the victim. Are you still here? Learn to listen to your husband. Learn to listen. Learn it. Practice it. Tell yourself you're going to do it. That is where your beauty is. Once you stop listening, all your beauty evaporates. It's something you probably don't know. Beauty is in obedience. That's where the glory is. Once you are not obedient, once you are harsh, you talk anyhow to your husband, your beauty evaporates. You wonder why you are dressing and he can't see it. He doesn't remember your last hairstyle. He can't see all those things. Well, today's meeting is not for this, but I Are you still in this room? I just thought I should explain some of those things to you. You can have a better life. Honestly, you can. You can.
Yeah. Does that make sense, guys?
Hallelujah. Glory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it comes from the word. So we got one last script, then we're gonna let y'all go. Because you know how it is, but we just want to nail it home how important the respect is and how, understanding that, especially from the ladies toward the men, it means the world. We're gonna do 1 John. 1 John. We're gonna do 1 John 3:18. Let me get to it. 1 John chapter 3, 18 through 24, and that'll be it for us for tonight. Let y'all go. All right, let me get that on the screen. 1 John chapter 3, verses 18 through 24. Whoever wants to grab it.
1 John chapter 3, verse 18 through 24.
Mm-hmm.
My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him. For in our heart condemn us. Yahweh is greater than our heart, and knoweth all things. Beloved, in our heart condemn us not. Then have we confidence toward Yahweh. And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. And this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his son, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach Basham, and love one another as he gave us commandment. And he that keepeth his commandments dwelleth in him, and he in him. And hereby we know that he abideth in us by the Spirit which he have given us.
God, it is all tied to obedience and listening and following and obeying the commandments. That's the way it is with Yahweh Shai in Israel. That's the way it is between a husband and a wife. It completes the entire thing and creates harmony in those relationships. So as Israelites, we have to understand how important it is. The law, statutes, and commandments are not done away with. That is what we're supposed to be obeying, and we're supposed to be believing in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Absolutely, and following him. He is the head. He is the leader. He's the king. And he's the husband of Israel. And again, in our families as human, as Israelite families, we're supposed to model our relationship after that exact same relationship between Israel and Yahweh Shai in a righteous sense, based on those instructions. All right. Well, I know it's a mouthful. Any comments before I pray us out?
Great study.
I appreciate that, brother. We all need it. All right, cool. We'll go ahead and pray real quick. Father, thank you so much for your word and for these examples to help us understand your intentions and your instructions, because we do want to obey. Help us to yearn to obey and to actually follow through and to do, not just understand and read it and listen to it, but help us to actually do and obey your word and fulfill what you tell us to fulfill. Just as Yahweh Shai did with your instructions to him. He's done the things that you've asked him, and he still has things yet to do, and he is doing those things. So he is still in the process of fulfilling all of the mission that you gave him. Help us to do the things as Israelites that we're supposed to do. And Father, I also ask you to bless our families and correct us and to bring us back into righteous order. And we absolutely need that, because that is the foundation of our nation. And you made us a great nation, Father, and you're going to make us, you're going to restore us to the shape that you want us to be in. So Father, help us to humble ourselves to you. Help us to humble ourselves to Yahweh Shai and come correct. In Yahweh Shai's name we pray. We do repent. We ask you to forgive us for our sins, and it will help us to obey continuously and to do your commandment and show that we do love you. In Yahweh Shai's name we pray. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, brothers and sisters.
Glory, glory, glory.
And we certainly appreciate y'all. We'll do this again. Thanks for sticking with us for such a long time. But until next time, shalom, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.
Joel 3:16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel.